Welcome to our lovely future humans who are on a journey, personal growth, spiritual growth. Our lovely 8-8 portal is coming about, and we had a couple shorts yesterday on the beginning of our messages. So we're going to have an extended, and then remember our 3-minute free content is available for you to go take a look at. And then for our 5-minute and 15-minute paid content, it will be live either by the 8-8 portal or a little bit after, we'll find out. And this is to support those who are on a spiritual journey and or personal growth journey. So again, you have the relationship within yourself. If you don't, then you don't want to be here. In fact, IHP content is ideal for people who do enjoy sitting with their thoughts, sitting with their emotions, and knowing that the future doesn't look the same as the past, and we also don't need to exclude science or spirituality from our lives. And well, when you meet actual good experts, they all know how to tell you how amazing it is to be intellectually, emotionally, and physically a master of yourself. That's called sovereignty. But let's use 5-year-old words so that all of those who come across IHP content can understand you can do it. Have a body in connection, number 1. You can do it and be a not spiritual bypasser, number 2, which means you can be angry like a grown-up and sad like a grown-up and afraid like a grown-up. And you're going to hear me use those words because I'm still a child inside, but I'm a grown-up child. All my child parts, they never went away, and they didn't get mad or sad or afraid in a way that created resentment. But I can tell you that when I meet the emotionally immature people that don't want to do the work to get their body in connection, to actually become true in their spirituality and then embody that which they always like to flaunt around, divinity, divinity, divinity. And it's like, where you're not divinity yet and you won't really ever become it. But as long as you keep on using the word and not noticing that resilience of the emotional embodiment of anger is not yet your friend, nor is sadness, and nor is fear. Because if you want to get rid of sadness and fear, well, I have news for you. Smart human beings know how to tell you, would you really want to get rid of it? And then sovereign humans from the future right here, but FYI, I'm 45, so I'm just playing with words, but I am from the future as a mystic, I can tell you. There's a number of downloads that I got when I awakened to more of Maria. And I began with Maria, with Jesus, God, Holy Spirit. And when I expanded to more of Maria, with soul and all that, said, hey God, so I already told you Lucifer's not real because there's no monsters, there's only cowards. Check. Number 2, the cloak people are really, really mean, and they're not bringing forth what my Christian Catholic good catechist taught me. Somehow they're being very, very self-righteous, ignorant, and continuing with the Scarlet Letter times. And they are also appealing to the large audience that Schopenhauer calls the masses, which as a political science major, personally, I already knew who they were, and I was never appealing to the mediocre masses because I really didn't realize how many consumers decide to stay ignorant. But then again, number 3, I also didn't realize that a bunch of people are not self-led, that as teenagers, no, adolescents, 11-year-olds. So around that age is when I found out from 11 to 14 how many cowards there were. And then I continued to meet them. And the cowards did the same thing that the cowards that are grown-ups still do. They don't go to Patrick Chan to get their inner child saved. So I have no respect. No, I do have respect. That's the part about the whole thing with divinity and consciousness and being expanded spiritually and coming from the future. I'm not kidding. I'm woo-woo pseudoscience for a reason. And I'm a mystic for a reason. And God already knows all of this. And he's discerning equanimous love. Unless you are one of the ones who follow the fear-mongering human beings from, the caves from Plato's time. Because really, it's beyond me when I meet mediocrity, how I'm stupid, and yet they keep on using their mouths to speak to me words. I'm like, okay, God taught me how not to play know-it-all on purpose because he knew that if I hadn't learned how not to, let go into the unknown, I would never have had as much fun as I'm having right now as a mystic, spiritual, mental. Yes, mental, I should say that. I may be crazy. You may be right. I may be crazy, but it might just be a lunatic you're looking for. No, I ain't mental that way, but we're all mental, but at least we're not fucked up. and finding excuses for why we're going to stay in an unhealthy, self-soothing body, which is going to wither away like the seaweed of Ursula's cauldron. And that's from The Little Mermaid. So I give you new stories because there's no monsters in the sky. There's no monsters in our lovely human beings. And as a person who is a channeler and downloader and in communion with God, he does work in many different ways. And you don't have to put a word on it. But you know who likes to use words, right? The left brainers who are imprisoned by their left brain and who don't notice that the only reason that we allow them to continue talking is because there's the one thing that we know happened to them when they were very, very small in the womb. And then their first year of life, and then their second year of life, and then their third year of life. This is why people who love me and know me, they say, Maria, remember, yes, we are all here to inspire human potential. I'm here to not support mediocrity. And I do come from the future, although it sounds ridiculous when I say it to me too, because I'm grounded in reality, because Sam Harris, man, I love you. And in my cherishable beliefs, God, I love you. They keep telling me that I need to think twice or thrice. I've thought 4, 5, 6 times. So an inner master of compassion and appreciation. Thank you, Jesus. Who's my role model? Jesus is. And when I asked somebody to help me to stop venting, no, too, they said, but you're human. I said, that's the whole point. Today I have the word mindfulness and sovereignty and empathic boundaries, these big fancy words that make me think in my butthole, wow, since I was a kid, I was a anomaly. No, please stop. No. But there is the, let's appreciate, this is a body in connection. I won't be able to prove it to you. Nope. I won't even be able to help you taste it. Nope. Won't be able to do shit for you. You can do it if you want, like the choo-choo train. And if you don't want to, it's okay. I won't pat you on the back because that's what emotionally immature people want to do to each other, like the flat earthers. I don't pat mediocrity on the back. I do very, very much a hard job, meaning I try really, really hard. No, I don't actually. I'm just trying really hard right now because I think of all the Schopenhauer masses and I just think, wow, the teenage me, you're out, you're in, maybe means you're out. That's how it works when you're sovereign and you're self-agent and you know what healthy self-worth is. So do you know what happens when we see unhealthy self-worth people giving people pats on the back? Or the other ones who want to shame people based on their trauma charges because they're not healed? Yes, that's the minute where Kali comes in, Shiva comes in, Krishna Lila comes in, and God reminds me, Maria, I sent you my son. What did he share? Yes, God, he shared something very important. What else? Okay, yes, I won't judge human suffering, a waste of my fucking time. It's getting better. See, this is called progress, and a process. And I feel like a whack job, but I'm not it. This is why when I see anybody dragging pain points around, I'm like, wow, there are just a lot of more masculines out there. Oh, it's not men, it's idiots who don't know how to do emotions. And yes, that's exactly how I feel about them. But then again, God taught me not to play know-it-all on purpose because that's how easy it is for me to spot weakness from the emotional, mental, and physical plane of a human being who's made of flesh. Now, the teenagers wanted to beat me up. I'm pretty sure there was a reason for it called, Maria, stop picking at all those little attachment flaring up whatevers. I wasn't doing it on purpose. So the words that come out of my mouth, that just FYI, yes, they have one of two results. And that's exactly why, tomato, let's call the whole thing off. No, why? Why would we ever do that? This is so much fun. Why would consciousness ever want to not live? I mean, wow. So you become an inner master of compassion, appreciation. If you master inner darkness, it's called human secondary consciousness. And I kid you not, I've known this my entire life and it feels so repetitive to Maria, but it's okay because, you know, at the end of the day, it's not. I do have a whole self, as lovely Dr. Dana Siegel pointed out. When you have a whole self, you don't feel changed. I'm always more of Maria, and people who don't believe me, I leave it alone. I learned as a kid, you want me to lie to you. No, you're asking me to lie to you. No, well, you keep putting words in my mouth that I didn't use. You're using them wrong. I don't care what you're saying to me right now. You do understand. I'm trying to be authentic, transparent. I don't wear a mask. I'm not bullshitting you. Are you done yet? Do you want? So this is why I don't do any of this with grown-ups. Teenagers taught me very well what cowards do. And then I grew up and I met the teenagers who are grown-ups. They're really awful. My gosh, this is like one of the best days of my life to be able to let you all know. Thank goodness detachment, trauma-educated people taught me what a mask is, because I was like, fuck, I knew they were faking it, but I didn't realize that they didn't own their subconscious. I have no idea how not to own my own 0-8-year-old. Like, I freaking have no idea. How do you not own your shit? And that's how it feels when a sovereign, self-agent, mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving person who, yes, I am a perfectionist. I'm just not moral, meaning I always think I'm moral. But do you think I'm moral? Wonder. Let's play a game. How many of you think thinks I'm a nice person? I'm just saying, like, really, emotionally immature people. Ding. That's exactly why I can't really speak my mind. I met teenagers. They were all very sensitive. I was sensitive too. And then I said, oh, wait, if I keep it open, it's not going to make a big deal. And when you meet a sociologist who says everybody cares about what people say, no, we only care about our loved ones. And my herd is my loved ones. And I already got to grow up with them. So there you go. I got disowned by the age of 8. Just saying, my badass is from my twin. I got to be disowned. You know what that means when you say, I have no older sister? That was an explicit memory. And then she thinks we're broken. I say, no, we're not broken. We're just different. And we're fine. We still fight like cats and dogs. That's why she makes me a badass. Because in my implicit memory, I am not afraid to be alone. So humanly speaking, the very basic body connection, check. Self-agent, check. Fear, check. The panic attacks. Sadness, check. But it's pretty straightforward because I got a twin that I repaired ruptures with. When you have all this stuff, and then 5, emotional and mental ease, check. You're going to enjoy us, IHP content, and every single one of the future humans that is here, and it's really fun. We don't whine about emotions and people hurting our feelings, because what hurt my foot was the rock that fell on it. You can't hurt my heart, because when it is breaking, it's my own heart, and it's my own brain. Brain. I get to wield it. People like to use fancy words, the spiritual bypassers. And I'm like, wow, you don't know anything about your heart, your gut, or your brain yet, but you have a bunch of stories that keep sending me behind and over. So anyways, the new codes for the 9th chakra. Yes, they come from the inner masters of compassion and appreciation. And that is of the understanding of all levels of conscience. So you could call me a bitch, a whore, or whatever, and I won't give a shit. And when loved ones will have called me names, again, I'm 45, really, it doesn't ever get old, because that's the best. No, it's so uncreative. This is why shame, blame, fault, revenge, and petty behavior is bullshit. It's mediocre. It has no value to me whatsoever. And the more they are in the stupid brain, the more it's like, what are you doing? So I learned how not to do any of what you see right here by the time I'm 20. I'm just letting you know, I had a very good self-led body, self-agent right here. And this is why we feel really, really like, wow, how many grown-ups do I still have to meet that seem like 3-year-olds that I need to actually smile at, because I'm not performing. I actively cannot do anything. When someone says you can't always be on, you think, how are you studying your material? Like, with what feet? You must not hear well. This is how it feels when you intellectually enjoy information and you meet human beings who are they're supposed to be better than you. That's what it means when you're still a child and thinking, I thought you were going to teach me something. No, you're not teaching me anything right now. Right now, it sounds like you're giving me story. Then some golden nuggets in here. Where's the information that I thought you were brilliantly going to present to me? And that's when you remember, shit, I got into the wrong room. Okay, I'm changing room now. Thank you so much. So when you meet the pseudo-intellectuals, yeah, don't worry. They're appealing to the audience of people who are definitely not going to be here. They think this is all fake. Enlightenment is a trap. Enlightenment is not real. Like, really, that, you know, the fact is, shame always finds an excuse for how it can stay in shame. And, oh, I'm not kidding. They don't like to hear it. This is the part. And it's also not nice. I want to be nice to my brothers and sisters who didn't get a good start. So Peter Levine is the one who humbled me, and God keeps chiming in, and I'm going to keep on having people chime in so that I can maintain that which is called grounded in humility, Maria, and remember that, yes, just because I'm a self-agent and sovereign and a healthy self-worth person who knows exactly no, maybe means no, yes, okay, check. You know what that is? It's called healthy self-worth people come on board. Unhealthy, go away. Oh, look, please appeasers come out of the woodwork. Wow, those fucking liars. That's how it feels when you have please appeasers. Or attached criers. No, those you just say, look, I think you're very needy right now and this is not going to work out. I do not do needy. It's called when people try to mesh. I learned a lot of grown-up words. It feels disgusting when anyone's trying to get in my sphere. Disgusting, disgusting. It's not unfamiliar to those of us who have healthy self-worth. What it means, stay in your lane. Intuitive, come again. You're intuitive, so you're doing what? Reading my, Akash. I'm an Akashic record of my own. Are you trying to do something right now? This is really not necessary. Okay, so when you're polite, it's not about pretending. It's that if you touch any of these people with one finger, meaning one word, you're not going to get into any interesting conversations, which is going to be a waste of even more of my fucking time. I'm sorry, God, I keep forgetting. So that's why I got taught how not to play know-it-all, just so you know. And this is why the 9th chakra, I mean, all these words, they mean stuff. Humanly speaking, get your body connected, become a self-agent, become sovereign, have fun with it. Once you have fun with thoughts, emotions, and you're not whining about fear and sadness and anger, and believe me, the panic attacks, they're pretty awful, but I'm pretty sure I got it pretty good compared to the physically unsafe children that have to be hurting physically because of people who think they know what leaders are. No, I said think. You got it right. Think. Because this is exactly where I come from, the future. Oh, God already has everything taken care of. Nobody wins except for one. And that's it. So if you're intelligent and you're spiritual and you're mystic and you're mindful, well, it's a no-brainer, which is why if you looked up to the sky, I always do, you know, it ain't falling, and there you go. So common sense, that's how it feels when you're from the future. And then you realize all the smart therapists are going to help every single human being to become the best version of themselves if they want to. They don't have to. I mean, I can say, I can show you a world. Na 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 na. Tell me, princess, prince, whatever, when was the last time that you were loved? So you know what an empowered feminine does when there's rejection? Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. These boots were made for walking. They won't walk over anyone. That's really bad manners. They will say, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Tip my hat. Wait, I have air, water, and food. And you know what happens when you got people on the other end of the spectrum, which if you just look away, I got a man who thinks he's a badass, and he thinks that all people, when you look away, confidence shatters. And I would say, wow, if that came out of my mouth, I'd be like looking how the fuck to get out of that shit, because I would not want to be able to be that fragile to the point of where my ego is going to be obliterated. That's how a person who's sovereign thinks of all these people who are whining about emotions, thoughts, or making it sound like you have to do it all by yourself. You don't do anything by yourself, no. It's called that you have self-awareness, accountability, regulation. And when somebody wants to say, I made it sound easy, excuse me, I never use the word, but if you are already thinking it's not easy, then your body's not in connection yet. So what you want to do is not be here where we do personal growth, spiritual growth, and we're a person who is empowered. And I've been trying to make sure you understand what empowerment means for real. When I meet self-righteous people, I let them talk so they can get it off their chest. They were shamed as children. Do you know what that means to a person like me when I understand what happened to that poor little 3-year-old? Kali is in my gut. Shiva's right here. Krishna Leela is here, but God is chiming in again and again with Jesus and all the angels. And then I'm also being told, you know, it's source all one. And then Peter Levine, come on in. Science creates humility in those of us who know that the choices are easy. What are you going to do? Are you going to be kind? Are you going to be unkind? It's easy, like Santa Claus. Nice, not nice. That's it. There's no monster. Stop with the monsters. The monsters are the grown-ups that we forgive. I forgive all the grown-ups who continue with transgenerational, cultural, and all single bits of trauma charges that are choosing to stay emotionally immature, not work one day of their life with their emotional plane, be mediocre, be ignorant, be buffoons, and use whether it's science or spirituality to put people against each other. No. 14-month-old in every single one of you. So we can all take self-awareness, accountability, regulation, because you know what I don't like? I don't like any of bullshit. And I'm still waiting for the perfect day where all of humanity is awakened to that heaven in the body. But that is where utopia lands. Because as empowered masculine and empowered feminine know, what would the life of ours be with no free will? So science says you have none. Science gives perfect explanations for the ones who need it. And spiritual bypassers have their lovely leaders to follow and their lovely little groups to make. And when you see silverbacks, you say, wow, there's another flat earther group. Hey, Schopenhauer, we got some more masses on board with you. They're using fancy words, and then they're saying we're not light or love, that we're light and lightning, and they don't even know how to be light, love, or lightning, because that body is going to wither away in hell as long as you don't learn how to put it in connection. So, number one, when your ninth chakra is active, body connected. Otherwise, you're not here yet. You don't have to. As I've always shared, it's not a race for anyone. But what I don't like are people who pretend to love themselves and humanity, and they don't love anyone because they haven't saved themselves yet. It's very dishonorable to leave your child to rot in hell inside your own body, and then to use inner outer critic, and then to make a bunch of other props and everything more. Do you know they have tarot cards for fucking people? And they are still leading with very bad examples for children in movies. And I get to be told that I'm too serious. I'm not too serious. I don't do mediocrity. So if there's one thing I leave behind today, is that our lovely 8-8 portal is doing awesome. Ascension energy is awesome for all the smart ones. Stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. For the stupid ones, I'm just so sorry that they chose not to go to Pashtun, to reveal, and to become emotional, mental, and physical grown-ups. And when they say, we don't have to heal all trauma, I say, wow, I see you like motivating yourself to basically do the bare minimum. I am a perfectionist. I'm just an imperfect one. Bare minimum. So everybody has a different body. I get it. If you suffer life, then that's what therapists are for. If you don't suffer it, then you get to do emotional, mental, grown-up stuff, and we don't have to be bitching at each other with any kind of ego in a way that's ridiculous. We can actually have really awesome conversations. Ninth chakra, active, open, compassion, appreciation, conscience. Every one of us can be a bullshit asshole to someone, and that's actually something that you will know the difference when it's here. Because in my open heart, I will be authentic, and that will lead those who don't want to be open-hearted. That's a bitch, that's a witch, that's a fucking but whatever, and that's okay. It's why I don't need God protecting me. I'm a sovereign, self-agent, mystic, spiritual who don't bow down to no one because I'm Maria. You can't spank me. As a my body, and that's a 3-year-old for you. And she taught me good manners. That's why I also don't talk to people in their face in ways that are not nice. But I can do it here. It's not because I'm pretending. As she literally told me, you didn't tell him you didn't like him in his face. The guy who, I said, no, Mom, no. I didn't do any of it. I did like my men friend said, gave him the cold shoulder, acted like a bitch, and I didn't do the patting on the back or get in his face. So there you go. Did exactly what you told me to do. If you can't say something nice, say nothing. And I did. So, with that being said, welcome aboard, self-agents, sovereign ones. We will be back with more. Have a good one.